Welcome to Celebrity Hollywood Classic. Today we're stepping into the world of V, 1984, the sci-fi series that gripped audiences with its thrilling alien invasion, high-stakes resistance, and unforgettable characters. From Diana's ruthless rule to Mike Donovan's fearless fight, V became a cult classic, leaving a lasting impact on the sci-fi genre. But where are the stars now? How have they changed over the decades? Some have continued their journey in Hollywood, while others have taken different paths, or sadly left us, but never forgotten. Join us as we honor their legacy, exploring their careers then and now. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep classic TV memories alive. The chilling and commanding force of V, 1984, Diana, was brought to life by Jane Badler, born on December 31, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York, USA. At 30 years old, she stepped into the role of the coldly intelligent and ruthlessly manipulative alien leader whose sinister experiments and calculated cruelty made her one of sci-fi television's most iconic villains. With her piercing gaze, reptilian nature hidden beneath a human disguise, and a hunger for power, Diana became the face of terror in the series. Before V, Badler had built a steady career in television, appearing in soap operas like One Life to Live and The Doctors. Her portrayal of Diana catapulted her into cult status, making her a fan-favorite antagonist. She later moved to Australia, where she expanded her career into theater and music, releasing multiple jazz and alternative albums. Now at 71 years old, she continues to captivate audiences, proving that her impact on sci-fi and entertainment is as powerful as ever. The mysterious and otherworldly Elizabeth Maxwell, also known as the Star Child, was portrayed by Jennifer Cooke, born on September 19, 1964, in New York, USA. At 20 years old, she stepped into the role of the human visitor hybrid, whose extraordinary abilities and rapid aging made her a pivotal figure in the battle between humanity and the alien invaders. With her telepathic and telekinetic powers, Elizabeth became a beacon of hope, symbolizing the possibility of peace between the two species while being hunted for her unique heritage. Before V, Cooke gained recognition for her work in soap operas like Guiding Light and later became a familiar face in horror films, most notably Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. However, after a brief but impactful acting career, she stepped away from Hollywood in the late 1980s, choosing to focus on personal ventures. Now at 60 years old, she has largely stayed out of the public eye but remains a cherished figure among sci-fi and horror fans, forever remembered for her role in V and the legacy of the Star Child. The kind-hearted and comically awkward Willie was portrayed by Robert Englund, born on June 6, 1947, in Glendale, California, USA. At 37 years old, he took on the role of the gentle and well-meaning visitor, who defected from his alien race to stand alongside humanity. Unlike his ruthless counterparts, Willie struggled to adapt to Earth's customs, often leading to humorous misunderstandings, but his loyalty and bravery made him a beloved member of the resistance. Before V, Englund had built a steady career in television and film, but his portrayal of Willie showcased his versatility beyond the sci-fi genre. Shortly after V, he became a horror icon as Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street, a role that cemented his status as a pop culture legend. Now at 77 years old, he continues to work in acting, directing, and voice work, engaging with fans at conventions and celebrating his long-standing impact on both sci-fi and horror cinema. The fearless and intelligent Dr. Julie Parrish was portrayed by Faye Grant, born on July 16, 1957, in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, USA. At 26 years old, she took on the role of the brilliant scientist and fierce resistance leader who used her medical knowledge and unwavering determination to fight against the alien visitors. As one of the strongest human characters in V, Julie played a crucial role in strategizing against the invaders while balancing the emotional weight of leadership. Before V, Grant appeared in series like The Greatest American Hero and continued her acting career in film and television, including roles in Internal Affairs and Omen 4. The Awakening. In addition to on-screen work, she has showcased her versatility in theater productions. Now at 67 years old, she has stepped away from Hollywood but remains a respected figure in sci-fi television history, remembered for her portrayal of one of the most resilient female characters in the genre. The fearless and determined Mike Donovan was portrayed by Mark Singer, born on January 29, 1948 in Vancouver, Canada. At 36 years old, he took on the role of the daring television journalist turned resistance fighter who was among the first to uncover the sinister truth about the visitors. With his relentless pursuit of the truth and willingness to risk everything for humanity's survival, Donovan became the ultimate hero of V, leading the fight against the alien invasion. Before V, Singer gained recognition for his role in the fantasy classic The Beastmaster, 1982, and he continued to work in both television and film, with appearances in Dallas, Hawaii 5-0, and Arrow. In 2011, he made a cameo in the V reboot, honoring his legacy in the franchise. Now at 77 years old, he remains a fan favorite in the sci-fi and fantasy genres, frequently attending conventions and celebrating his lasting impact on cult television and cinema. The rebellious and resourceful Kyle Bates was portrayed by Jeff Yeager, born on January 18, 1961 in Lawrence, Kansas, USA. At 23 years old, he joined V, the series, as the street-smart and reluctant hero, initially uninterested in the war, but later becoming a key member of the resistance. With his combat skills, fearless attitude, and romantic connection to Elizabeth Maxwell, Kyle added a new dynamic to the human fight against the visitors. Beyond V, Yeager built a steady career in television and film, appearing in 21 Jump Street, The Flash, 1990, and Star Trek, Voyager. He also became a respected sculptor, specializing in lifelike statues of classic movie monsters and pop culture icons. Now at 64 years old, he continues to contribute to the entertainment industry through art and occasional acting, remaining a cherished figure for sci-fi fans. The conflicted and emotionally torn Robin Maxwell was portrayed by Blair Tefkin, born on December 9, 1959 in Los Angeles, California, USA. At 24 years old, she stepped into the role of a young woman forever changed by the visitors, becoming one of the first humans to bear a half-human, half-visitor child. Robin's internal struggles, trauma, and evolving sense of purpose made her one of the most complex characters in V, as she grappled with the consequences of her relationship with an alien and the responsibility of raising her extraordinary daughter, Elizabeth. Tefkin replaced actress Lisa Eilbacher after the original V miniseries and went on to appear in V, The Final Battle, and V, the series. Outside of V, she starred in Fast Times, Family Ties, and 21 Jump Street, along with roles in films like Three for the Road, 1987. Later, she transitioned into music, becoming a singer-songwriter and performing with various bands. Now at 65 years old, she continues to explore creative projects, remaining a cult favorite actress in the sci-fi and horror genres. The street-smart and tough Elias Taylor was portrayed by Michael Wright, born on April 30, 1956 in New York City, USA. At 28 years old, he took on the role of a former gang member turned resistance fighter who evolved from a self-serving hustler into a courageous and loyal warrior against the visitors. With his survival instincts, combat skills, and evolving sense of purpose, Elias became a standout character in V, The Final Battle, and V, the series, showcasing one of the most compelling redemption arcs in the franchise. Beyond V, Wright gained further fame for his role as Eddie King Jr. in The Five Heartbeats, 1991, and appeared in films like Sugar Hill, 1993, alongside Wesley Snipes. He has had a long career in television and film, often playing intense and complex characters in crime dramas and action thrillers. Now at 69 years old, he remains active in the entertainment industry, continuing to be recognized for his powerful performances and commanding screen presence. The distinguished journalist Howard K. Smith played himself in V, adding a sense of realism as he reported on the visitor invasion like a real-world news event. At 70 years old, he brought credibility to the series, blurring the line between fiction and reality. Smith was a renowned news anchor, war correspondent, and debate moderator, covering major historical events throughout his career. He retired from broadcasting in the late 1980s and passed away on February 15, 2002, at 87 years old, leaving behind a legacy as one of America's most respected journalists. The calculating and ruthless Mr. Chang was portrayed by Aki Aliong, born on December 19, 1934, in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. At 50 years old, he played Nathan Bates's enforcer in V the Series, 1984 to 1985, ensuring that his employer's interests were upheld with cold efficiency. His cunning and combat skills made him a formidable foe to the resistance until his eventual downfall. Beyond V, Aliong had a prolific career in film, television, and music, appearing in Babylon 5, The Outer Limits, and Walker, Texas Ranger. Now at 90 years old, he remains a respected figure in the entertainment industry, known for his contributions to both acting and advocacy for Asian American representation in Hollywood. The authoritative and conflicted Philip was portrayed by Frank Ashmore, born on June 17, 1945 in El Paso, Texas, USA. At 39 years old, he played the twin brother of Martin, a high-ranking visitor officer who initially upheld the alien regime but gradually questioned their brutal occupation of Earth. His shift from enforcer to a more complex and morally torn figure added depth to V the Series, 1984 to 1985. Ashmore was best known for his dual roles as Philip and Martin in V, showcasing his versatility as an actor. He also appeared in Dallas, T.J. Hooker, and Castle, as well as the classic comedy film Airplane, 1980. Now at 79 years old, he continues to engage with fans and remains a recognizable figure in science fiction and television history. The ruthless and ambitious Lieutenant James was portrayed by Judson Scott, born on July 15, 1952, in Azusa, California, USA. At 32 years old, he played one of Diana's most loyal enforcers in V the Series, 1884 to 1885, executing her commands with unwavering brutality. His fierce loyalty and hunger for power made him a formidable antagonist in the ongoing battle between the Visitors and the Resistance. Scott was known for his roles in science fiction and action television, including Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, The A-Team, MacGyver, and Babylon 5. Now at 72 years old, he has largely stepped away from Hollywood but remains a favorite among sci-fi fans for his commanding presence and memorable performances. The cunning and power-hungry Charles was portrayed by Duncan Regehr, born on October 5, 1952, in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. At 32 years old, he joined V the Series, 1984 to 1985, as a high-ranking visitor officer sent from the homeworld to oversee the invasion and assert control over Diana. His arrogance, political scheming, and ultimate downfall added layers of intrigue and betrayal to the visitor hierarchy. Regehr became widely recognized for his work in sci-fi and fantasy, most notably as Zorro in Zorro, 1990 to 1993, and in The Monster Squad, 1887. He also appeared in multiple Star Trek series. Now at 72 years old, he is a renowned painter and writer, continuing to make an impact in both the arts and entertainment industries. The tough and dependable Chris Farber was portrayed by Mickey Jones, born on June 10, 1941, in Houston, Texas, USA. At 43 years old, he played a rugged mercenary and close ally of Ham Tyler in V the Series, 1984 to 1985. With his military expertise and no-nonsense attitude, Chris became a vital asset to the human resistance, providing both firepower and strategic insight. Jones had a long career in film, television, and music, appearing in Home Improvement, Justified, and films like Sling Blade, 1996. Before acting, he was a drummer for Bob Dylan and the First Edition. He passed away on February 7, 2018 at 76 years old, leaving behind a legacy in both entertainment and music. And that's a wrap on our journey through the cast of V, 1984, a show that redefined sci-fi television. From heroes and rebels to villains and visitors, these actors made an unforgettable mark in entertainment history. Which transformation surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this nostalgic trip, show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to Celebrity Hollywood Classic, where we celebrate the stars and stories that shaped pop culture. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.